ladies and gentlemen, for clicking on this Rank the Movies video. We are still talking about movies that are kind of underrated, ones most people probably haven't heard of or have just passed over because they didn't look interesting. I am Martin Prevost. Let's dive right in. We talked about Cuban Fury last week, which is a great movie starring Nick Frost. This week we're going to talk about one of my favorite sketch comedy troupes, The Kids in the Hall, one member in particular, that is Dave Foley in his film effort, The Wrong Guy. I just finally sat down with this movie and watched it not too long ago, and man, I don't know why I didn't watch this way earlier in life. This has been out since he was on news radio, so we're talking the 90s here. And I've never seen it. I came across a VHS copy of it, which I don't have displayed here. But I came across a VHS copy of it and went, man, I need to watch this movie. And I bought it, and then I found out the Blu-ray was actually a fairly reasonable price, so I bought the Blu-ray. I watched the Blu-ray, and I really, once I figured out what this movie was, because the back of the box and everything else, it gives it a weird expectation. It misinterprets what the movie actually is. So the movie is basically Dave Foley is a forgettable manager at a company who believes he's getting a promotion. He is passed over for the promotion because he is not the biggest kiss-ass in the company. There is actually a bigger kiss-ass. Actually, he is engaged to his boss's daughter, and then he finds out that the guy who gets the promotion is actually engaged to the boss's favorite daughter. And Dave Foley has a great bit about, well, if that's how it's going to work, you need to mark your daughter's favorite, least favorite. It is a great outburst of comedic timing for that dialogue. Plus, it's that concept of you need to mark your daughters so everybody knows, well, if this is your favorite daughter and this is your least favorite daughter, you need to let us know so we can take proper action, so we can know which daughter is which. Eventually, he goes into his boss's office to confront him about the promotion, and his boss is dead, stabbed in the back. So it looks like it's turning into one of those, he is the wrong guy. He's going to get chased down, and he's going to flee. It's a fugitive situation. He didn't do it, but he's going to get caught and taken in for it. And he kind of, checks on the body, ends up getting blood everywhere on himself, on the curtains, just everywhere. It was a really clean crime scene, and then he destroys it. He runs out of the building screaming like a banshee. The actual killer reveals himself from behind some drapery and climbs into an air duct. As Dave Foley is fleeing, including from the Bare Naked Ladies as police officers, yep, the Bare Naked Ladies cameo as a group of police officers who are singing a cappella outside of a dumpster that Dave Foley is hiding in. It's a pretty fun moment. You find out that the room has a lot of security, that the head of this company actually required himself to be under surveillance 24 hours a day. So they have footage of the killer killing him, and there's absolutely nobody looking for Dave Foley because he is just an innocent dude who just walked in. So nobody is looking for him. Everyone is actually looking for the actual criminal. But because now Dave Foley thinks he's on the run, he ends up constantly leading the cops to the actual killer. The killer steals a vehicle, and then there's an APB out for the killer with this vehicle, and he ditches the vehicle, and then Dave Foley finds the vehicle, and he drives it to a motel that also happens to be where the actual killer is hiding out as well. So the cops show up, and Dave Foley's like, I didn't do it! And nobody thinks it's him, because he doesn't even come close to the description of who the actual murderer is, and it does that for a little bit, and then once it realizes that joke is getting old, it decides to move on to a different trope of the runaway fugitive, which is being picked up by a farmer whose house is going to be foreclosed on by the bank, and him trying to use his own expertise to help the farmer out, except it's not a farmer who's getting foreclosed on, it's a bank that's trying to be bought out by a wealthy farmer. So they take the trope and just flip it on its head. And I'm sitting there going, dear Lord, this is actually really inventive and an interesting way of producing this kind of film. Because it just takes these tropes and just flips them on their head. So he's now working at the bank that is threatening to be bought out to be turned into cattle land by the rich farmer. And again, the rich farmer finds out about the murder, believes Dave Foley to be the actual killer, notifies the police, and again the police show up and go, what the hell, this dude isn't it. But at this point, the actual killer believes Dave Foley to be some type of assassin or government spy sent out to stop him. So he is now actually tracking Dave Foley and is the one being like thrown into all the ridiculous situations where he's hiding out in the woods covered in mud, and like it's a great role reversal on the normal that leads up to a climax on a fake Statue of Liberty, which is also a hilarious moment. That moment I'd actually seen before on television. I think this movie aired on like Comedy Central or something, and one day I turned it on and it was just the end of the movie, and I caught the last couple of minutes of it. I remembered that. But I liked it. This is a really good movie. I was really surprised how enjoyable it was and how smart and clever it was with taking the fugitive trope and just kind of flipping it on its head and messing with all the little pieces throughout. It's a great movie. It's a great time. If you've never seen The Wrong Guy, definitely check it out. It is worth the time. It is worth the hour and a half to sit down and watch it. There's a cameo by another Kids in the Hall member, Kevin McDonald, who is just great. He's great in his cameo. He plays the dude running the motel that Dave Foley stops at. He is really good in this movie. It's a fun time. It's a good movie. If you've never seen The Wrong Guy, definitely check it out. It is 100% worth the time. All right, well, I got one more week of doing an underrated film. We'll get to that one next week. Otherwise, have a great week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the video so you make sure that you always see the content as it's coming up. I am Martin Prevost. This is Rank the Movies. You have a great day.